Good morning, good day, welcome. My name is Tiago and I've lived here since forever, okay? And while it's pretty exciting to have a Python conference right next door, it's also kind of odd, okay? One thing I like is that we get to meet old friends, see them again, meet new people. And when I travel, which is not the case today, I get to visit new interesting places that I wouldn't be able to do otherwise. So I thought, even though this is not technically a Python talk, the slides are written in Python, so it must count. I thought about sharing a few tips for those of us that are not from around here to explore the area. With that, I'll always work with this map, and that black line there is the train line from Cascais to the west to Lisbon, okay? On the train, the tip is the long name is Lisbon. More people, long name is Cais do Sodré. We're here, okay, that's our conference. And the closest train station is Carcavelos. Let's zoom in a bit, okay? And interestingly, let's talk a bit about ice cream, okay? There's this place, and I'm a client since, again, forever. They're supposedly good. They served ice cream to the king of Italy, which used to live in Cascais a while back. And the name is Santini. Take a picture. It's a 15-minute walk from here. You want to go for fruit flavors, okay? Or combinations, or, you know, ask Rodrigo. It might still be the second best ice cream in the world. Go there and then tell me about your thoughts. Now, there's also a Santini shop in Cascais towards the west, okay? That's 10-15 minute train ride from here and then a 5-minute walk. Go Santini if you like ice cream. Now, after ice cream, you might want to burn those calories, okay? So a seaside walk or run is recommended. And again, in the Cascais area, there's a beautiful seaside walk there. And the recommendation is train to Cascais or train to Estoril, okay? That's the train station there. And this is a beautiful ocean view, 2 or 3 kilometers walk, or you can double it by going back and forth. It's a beautiful view. Target the early morning or the late afternoon, because otherwise it's too busy or too hot, but otherwise lovely. Going further west and a bit north, for those lovers of nature and geography, you can't miss Cape Roca, okay? It's the most western point in continental Europe. So if you visit, you get geo-bragging rights, okay? Other than that is an amazing, outstanding view of nature and the ocean and everything. I would recommend, if you have the time, go there, and if it's your thing. Mornings tend to be less busy. Sunsets are earth-shattering, so pick your poison. But you'll need about half a day, okay? There's a bus from Cascais to there. It's a 45-minute ride. If you grab a taxi, you can maybe half that, split a ride, maybe it's usable, but you can't do it now after the conference. It would be something you do maybe Sunday morning. I don't know. If you're into history, well, now we're moving towards Lisbon on the train line, and the spot might be Belém. That's 15 minutes from here or 5 minutes from Lisbon, okay? And here are a few spots. If you don't know, Portugal explored, conquered, whatever, the world back in those centuries, okay? So in this area of Belém, you'll find bazillions of monuments from those eras with lots of history, and it's very walkable. It's a nice Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, I don't know, or a late evening today or tomorrow. It's nice. For those asking about pastéis de Belém or pastéis de nata, there's supposedly the reference spot is that pink one, okay? You might want to go there. All of this in the map is walking distance from the train station in Belém, okay? So you can visit. Lastly, but not least, if you're into music like I am, there's something that's unique to Lisbon, or to Portugal, but in particular to Lisbon. And again, it's 20 minutes from here, train ride. And that's Fado, okay? Fado is a traditional folk music. It is 200-300 years old and often performed live. There are recordings, but you don't want recordings, you want live performances. normally a singer, man, woman, and accompanied by one or two instruments. The place you want to go to is Mesa de Frades, and I'm done, okay? Pictures. Ping me at Blue Sky if you want to know more. I will have to leave now due to a personal emergency, but ping me, I will guide you if you want to explore, okay? You got it? Go, thanks, sorry.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is the font size big enough? Very nice. All right, so let's create a list that's empty, and now let's append something to the list. You've all seen the method append, right? So now let's append the list to itself. What do I get if I print this? Do I get an error? Do I get an infinite stream of output? Stop stealing my thunder, Christian. Yes, you get the ellipses, yeah. So Python is smart enough to figure out you have the list inside itself and then just prints that. Fine. There's a nice, exactly. Okay, so that was it. Okay, that was not very impressive. Okay, so then let me create a tuple. What's like a key feature of tuples? They're immutable, very nice. All right, so you can't do something like this equals, let's say, the list with 3, 4. This doesn't work, right? So now what I'll do is, this is the value of my tuple, or my tuple, depending on where you're from. And what I'll do is augmented assignment plus equals a list. And you get an error because tuples are not mutable, right? So naturally the value inside the tuple changes. Right? This is trivial, right? Python is beginner friendly, folks, so I don't know why you're complaining. Okay, this gets nicer. Have you seen the built-in hash? Yes, great. You use this probably under the hood to create things like dictionaries. Yeah, so far so good? So if I say this, and then this is a short Portuguese lesson for you. How many things do I have inside my dictionary? 2, of course, yeah. Great, so then what I'll do is I'll create so the 1 maps to 1, the 2 maps to 2, and then let's say true maps to verdadeiro, and maybe also 1.0 maps to 1 as well. Fine. How many things are inside my dictionary? 2, of course. Right? Yeah? No? Yeah, it's fairly, yeah? Okay, so hashes are used here. But now the cool thing is, what's the hash of 1? What's the hash of 2? Sorry, yeah, I spoiled it. What's the hash of 3?
It's a counter.
It's a counter. What's the hash of, I don't know, -5? What's the hash of -3? No one knows it? -3, of course. So then naturally the hash of -1 is -2. Right? Of course. Did you know you can create infinity like this? Now what's the hash of infinity? Not -1. No, sorry? It is pi, yes. Or at least an approximation. And then obviously the only reasonable thing to do for -infinity is -pi, yeah. I thought it were going to be like the last digits, but apparently that doesn't work. I don't know, I guess mathematics. Fine. So then, okay, so this is a fun one. This is a fun one. I'm going to run Python 3.8. Yeah? Now I'm going to import a module from the standard library called keyword. And this gives me access to a list of keywords in the language. And how many keywords are there in Python 3.8? Everyone should know this. 35. Close enough. 35. Okay. Remember this number. Now what I'll do is I'll run Python. Why, please? Oh, because I remapped my keys. Right. So then I need to retype this. Give me a second. I'll run Python 3.10. I'll import the module keyword, and now I'm going to check the length of the list of keywords in Python 3.10. What's the length? It's not 42, Tiago. Come on, are you paying attention? It's 35. So then, naturally, if I run Python 3.9, which, in case you don't know, is in between 3.8 and 3.10, if I import keyword and I check the length of the keyword list, what's the length? It's not 42, Tiago. What's the length? It's 36, obviously, because there's this weird thing. You can ask Pablo about it later. Where is it? I don't remember the name. It's this peg parser. I don't even know what this is for. I mean, I know he explained, but I can't explain it to you. It just gives you a syntax error if you try to access it, because obviously, what else would it do? All right, and then for the final one, how am I doing for time? I'm done. Okay, no final one, thank you.
And now, unexpected F strings by Sara.
Right. So unexpected F strings. You probably, maybe some of you have already seen this page, this F string WTF. I'm not gonna spoil this quiz. So if you've done it already, maybe you already know what I'm gonna talk about. If you didn't see this, I'm not gonna spoil the quiz. You can have a lot of fun later as well. So don't worry about it. So let's see some unexpected F strings that I've came across recently, actually, by looking at that quiz. F strings are great, and they are actually something that seem very easy to use, but they have some hidden syntax that a lot of people doesn't not know about, and that doesn't really is not really self-explanatory. So it can be quite confusing if you don't know what you're doing. So, for example, you all know that if I define a variable and I print it like with an F string like this, what you're going to print is the content of the variable. So between the curly braces, that's called the replacement field, and what it does is that it replaces the variable with the content of the variable. So far, so good. Also, the nice thing is that you don't actually only need to put the variable there. You can put an expression. So for example, if you do this, a+1, it will directly print the result. So you can also put expressions. So for example, equals itself, this should be true. And also, by consequence, this will print a=1. Well, at a first glance, you might not notice what's wrong. This was actually a typo, because naturally, this is the right way to do it. This is actually false. So what we've done here, what is this? This is actually pretty tricky, because in F strings, this is called a self-documenting expression. You will not find this in the documentation, but if you print a variable with an equals afterwards, you will print the variable name equals the content of the variable itself, which is nice for, debugging statements and everything. Also, if you print like a variable with an exclamation mark afterwards, you have a couple of options, one of which is A, which means ASCII, which will replace the content of the variable with its ASCII equivalent. So if it's an emoji, for example, it will print the ASCII equivalent of it. In this case, A is 1, so we will just print 1. And if you combine, then you get this fantastic syntax where, yeah, it looks like an expression, but it's actually not. Funnily enough, you can do this also with the walrus operator. You know that in a few Python versions ago, they introduced the walrus operator, which allows you to assign in a one-liner a variable to a new value. So given that it's an expression, you should be able to just put it in an F string and print it out, right? So I should do this. Like this, it should work. For example, let's say 10. However, this is not exactly what happens. This looks like the walrus operator, but the output definitely doesn't do what you would expect. In fact, there is some weird padding there which you don't exactly, at the first glance, understand where it comes from. This is because, again, I made a typo. So this is the actual walrus operator, and this is, again, wrong. What's happening here? That is actually the walrus operator, right? Because if I do this, like this without the F string, so 10, this will work. So what's happening here? Why this one doesn't work? Why this one is padding 10 around? This is because there is a syntax collision. To actually use a walrus operator, you need to put a parenthesis around it. And only in this case it will work. This is because everything that comes after a colon in an F string It's called like a formatting operator. And in this case, the equals is something to do with signs that doesn't actually change the output in this specific case. If the number was negative, so for example, if I were assigning this minus 10, and I was doing this, then in this case, you would see that I'm putting space in between the sign and the 10. So this can actually be useful, I guess, for some formatting, but it's not exactly very trivial to spot if you don't know that this feature exists at all. So this is fun. And there is also some other syntax clashes that is related to the sets. So for example, you know that in Python you can define sets like this. For example, you know sets don't allow duplicates, so when you actually print this one out, you will see that the one was like compressed into a single value. However, you should be able to do this in an F string as well, right? So for example, if I do this, well, this one, it's quite obvious it won't work because the brackets are already part of the replacement field, then indeed you will just print a tuple like this. But if I want to print a set, maybe I just need to duplicate the F strings, right? This should print a set, I guess. Actually, it does not, because if you double the braces, it will just escape the curly braces themselves. So you will just print the content as it is. You can actually print whatever in here. It doesn't need to be numbers. It can be any strings, like this. So in order to make this one an actual set, you should do this. Okay. Well, you never know how is it done. Figure out yourself. Okay, that's it.
Hello, I'm Daniel, and I'm a board member at the Odoo Community Association. So I'd like just a very short introduction of the association, of what the Odoo framework is, if you haven't heard about it. So just a quick introduction and a few links if you want to learn more about it. So very quick introduction to Odoo. Odoo is a business application framework. It's also a for-profit company that has an open core model, but the base framework and the base apps are open source and free to use. So being an open source core, it allows a thriving ecosystem to happen at the open source level, where you can build applications using that framework virtual for anything. So Odoo can cover from accounting to sales, CRM, website, e-commerce, human resources, whatever. So it's kind of a business application platform that can do anything that the company needs. Talking about the Odoo Community Association. So our mission is to promote the use of Odoo, to support the collaborative development of Odoo features. And it's not written there, but it's also to make sure that Odoo framework keeps open source and there's no commercial pressures to make it completely closed source like we see with a lot of tools out there. So that's politically not there. So we aim, the contributors to our association work together to create high quality set of features and applications that are used every day to deploy ERP solutions and business applications faster and cheaper and more effectively to thousands of customers of these integrators worldwide. So this is a picture from our yearly event. It was in Liège last year. We do it every year there, where people from the 5 continents are there, from Japan to the US, Latin America, Africa, Europe. So what does the OCA provide to the community as an association? So we provide basically a space for collaboration. There's a code library with hundreds of quality models contributed by all the members and contributors. We provide coordination, so these people can work together. And we provide code standards, automated checks, CIs, quality tools to make sure that what goes there is tested and is reliable and can be deployed on customers, at least without destroying their databases. And we have full commitment for the open source value, so we have an agenda to keep everything under open source licenses. So this is our GitHub organization for the OCA. Can you see how many repositories we are hosting? It's more than 200. Separate topics from logistics, accounting, project management, whatever. So there's repos dedicated to virtually anything that a company or an organization might need. And also open upgrade, because the version upgrade tools are proprietary. In the OCA, we built an alternative version that's open source and community maintained that allows independent migration of versions. And here are a few links if you want to know more. That's our Odoo community main website. You can have a peek at the shop is really an index of all the modules we publish. A module is an application or an extension adding a feature that's missing on the product. So there's like, I think, 6,000 modules published. And you have the OCA's GitHub organization with those 200 repos there. And the Odoo core framework, if you want to have a look, that's open source, and it has dozens of applications that you can use, including accounting. Yeah, so a ton of things. So yeah, this is 5 minutes. I'm done. Thank you.
So, my name is Tiago. I'm the president for the Portuguese National Company Association for Free Software. Just a quick reminder that free software and open source software is really close, but the really free software is the one that lets us use, study, share, and improve. And that is good for everybody in the end. And so UNSOL is the association that tries to promote free software in Portugal. And we, together with multiple partners, we are organizing a conference in October, Porto, in the Faculty of Engineering. And we will speak about technical stuff and non-technical stuff regarding free software. So we already have multiple partners. We are getting more partners every day. And so as you can see, we already have some groups that join us. But as you can see, there's at least one missing one. Apart from Odoo that I'm going to speak after this. Of course, Python is still not here. Yeah. Huh? This will finish really quickly. So. But yeah, so if you want to join this conference, you are free to just join. It's a free conference, so you don't have to pay anything. You, of course, can help us by telling other people about that, by joining us, by bringing some more people here, mainly people that don't like software, because it's always funny to get those here. And yeah, join UNSOL, join Festa Software Livre, and talk to me in the end if you want to know anything. Okay? Thank you.
Talk by Aivars, yet another django-taskq.
So this is a kind of promotion of my personal project that is actually used in production. So quick question, who uses Celery? Keep the hands up. Okay, keep hands up. Who uses Celery with Redis? Still, okay. Then the last question is, keep hands up. Who uses Celery, Redis, and in production? Okay, I feel sorry for you. So we did this as well, but we had a lot of tasks that have this ETA, which are to be executed in the future. And then there's this nice note in the documentation that actually there are problems with either caching all the tasks in workers' memory, which leads to out-of-memory kills, or it starts duplicating the tasks and so on. So when you have like two routes, you either accept that in case you crash, your tasks won't be executed on time, or you get duplicate tasks. So we looked at some alternative solutions, but either they do not support the ETA, or like the new django-taskq that is a proposal and there's some initial implementation, they do not have the retrace errors, and everything has to be like, the code has to be migrated. So let's do our own. So we kept the Celery API and implemented a simple queue using the Django database, and used Django admin for observability. And yeah, so basically, since we had to migrate some code, so this is the basic definition how you define a task with this annotation. This is how you schedule tasks, so basically everything that Celery does. And then the migration process is just you install the package, you change the imports and change the command line for the task processor, and then you're good to go. And then it's running. And yeah, and then inside the Django admin, so it keeps track of all tasks that have been failed, and if you want, you can retry them. Or there's also this kind of dashboard which shows how many tasks are in a like failed state or pending execution because you do not have sufficient CPU power. And that's it. So if you're interested, you can check this out at this PyPy project. So, thank you. That's it.
So apart from being a volunteer, I decided this year to give a small lightning talk. I mean, why not? I've been working on something for fun after working hours when I'm not doing my 300 hobbies. I'm also coding sometimes, and I've created something really stupid, really simple, just because AI is everywhere, so why not use it something fun and let's save some work. So it's me. I'm Afonso, 22 years old. I'm a full stack developer in Leiria, the city that does not exist. The Portuguese people know the meme. And when I'm not coding, I'm usually doing something related to 3D printing, also with coding related, and something that's a thing, electric vehicles rallies. Maybe you don't know about it, but that's something that really exists. There's a championship in Portugal. It's fee regulated. I mean, what the heck. It started this year and I'm part of it already. So what about this AI CMS? It uses Django and DeepSeek for, I mean, that's the whole infrastructure of it. Django for the backend and the frontend. And for the admin page, I mean, it's a godsend that admin already made. And because AI is everywhere, so why not use it for something fun, and let's just integrate some components here and make something out of it. And because Django and Python are king. I mean, come on, we are at the Python conference. So yeah, round of applause for Python and Django. Apart from Django, I also, and the previous talk about task queues just came really great, because who knows, I maybe switch to that task queue library. Something I discovered during the make of this project, Django queue. I mean, who knows Django queue for task scheduling on Django? Yeah, the original version has been not upgraded since 2021, if I'm not mistaken. So a new fork has been made, Django Q2. Not related to this talk, just a quick heads up, so if you want to use it for something similar, because if you go to the GitHub page of the original Django Q, you'll see like 200 issues asking for the original maker, what's the state of this project, and no answers. It's a sad ending for some open source libraries, it happens, and a new community fork came along, Django Q2. It's a drop-in replacement. So, continuing with our AI CMS, and just a quick shout out for those of you interested in started to use AI models on your applications. And if you are like me, don't want to spend a lot of money on an AI model like ChatGPT, to make API, simple API calls, DeepSeek, and I know all about the China stuff with DeepSeek, how it transmits your data to China. I mean, we are just making HTML pages. It's not really that confidential. And they have an happy hour of their API during 4:30 to midnight. Their API is 50% cheap compared to the regular prices during the day. So great news for us that want to make something stupid. Let's just use it during the afternoon because it's cheaper. So how does my project work? How does AVI CMS work? You just set up an AI model. It uses the Open AI client to interface with it. Just set up an API key, base URL in what model do you want. You just in a general layout information page with company name, logo, colors, etc. And you start generating pages like an about page, home page, a services page. And it uses the DeepSeek model in this case to generate the HTML. I mean, it's something really stupid just to integrate it. It started on a coffee break talk and to be something. So let's just do a quick demo. I know that we don't have much more time. The page generation takes some time, takes around 2 minutes for each page. And I'm not using the reasoning model. If we were using it to take a little bit longer but produce better. Let's just jump to the admin page that I proudly made with 2 lines of code and some vibe coding. So I've filled in the site settings with some colors. I'm making the PyCon Portugal site using my project and generated already an home page with this small prompt. Then 2 minutes more or less after waiting, DeepSeek generated the layout and the page for us. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
So, my dev setup is better than yours. So let's start with the conclusion. This is a journey of what I've done and how I got to my current setup. It started with this course. It is a course from the Primagen. I don't know if you've heard of him. Very nice. So it was actually his dev setup, but it is now mine. Because what's the idea? Why is it better than yours? Because it's mine. It was designed for me, for whatever I do. And the idea is to give you some inspiration of what you can do to make your dev setup better for you than mine. So first, a little bit of Raycast. Raycast is an application that works for Mac. It gives you keyboard shortcuts. It gives you a hyperkey. So for example, I can use the caps lock instead of caps lock because I don't shout that much in here. I can use it to move with just one click to different applications I use a lot. So the email, browser, Obsidian, the terminal, just with one click. Whatever is not in a keyboard shortcut, I can just look it here fast. And also I can use it for calculator or for calculator with currency to Colombian pesos. I'm from Colombia. Etc. Very useful. Go and look for it. What else do I have? A little bit of, let's go to the terminal. So first, a little bit of Tmux. So I got this sessionizer, which I can look for all the projects I have in a specific location. Then I can go and say, let's look for the dot files, and it automatically opens. I just updated it, so it looks weird, but wait for it. It's loading. Yeah. So I open automatically the project that I want with one window, one tab in the terminal with NeoVim open with my everything I need here. So I can go, for example, to Vim configs, tasks, etc. And another tab here with a terminal open in this workspace. So this is everything I ever need when I'm coding. I just need a terminal and I just need the code. And I got everything there. I got, whenever I update something in this repo, I can just run deploy emp, and it runs a script. It's just a simple bash script that updates everything. I don't use symlinks and everything. I just update, delete everything, and replace it with the new one that I got in my GitHub repo. And, well, NeoVim with a lot of setup and everything. And yeah, get used to the terminal. I really like the terminal. There's a lot of things. So, the main idea of what I wanted to show is not like a specific tool that you can use NeoVim. You can use window manager, I forgot. So, for example, with Raycast, I can move things around also with just one click. But the main idea is optimize your setup for what you do most every day. So what's what I do most? I use the browser, I use the terminal, I use Obsidian, I check the mail. Everything else I can do with a few more clicks. I don't have to optimize everything just because I can. And what I said at the beginning, it's good because it was made for me. I designed it for what I like to do. This is not telling you like you have to use NeoVim, you have to use like Tmux. It's just use whatever you want, but make it yours. And keep it simple. Keep it simple. Don't go very complicated. Try to code everything. Don't copy paste settings because then you don't understand a thing. So even though I take a lot of inspiration from the course, from other .m repositories online and videos, I try to type everything and understand every single line that I have there so that I can make actually my setup mine, even though I'm taking it from many different places. And confetti. By the way, this is another keyboard shortcut you got with Raycast.